how you manifest it. You can't think 20 different things and think you can do them all at once. It's very difficult. It's not that easy. So try and focus on one thing at a time. Okay. So please give me a thumbs up, somebody, if you can see this. This is the presentation, and we're gonna have some fun today. And then my dad got that for me. And then when I was down and out 2.5 years ago, this book, yeah, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, is what got me to wanting to become a motivational speaker. This book right here, that's right, that book right there. Now I'm who I am. So these two books have had the most significant impact in my life. So now let's discuss the theory of the mind. Let's discuss how your mind operates, how it processes, how it's a program, how you've got this huge supercomputer in you, this big storage unit of infinite intelligence is what they call the subconscious mind, meaning you can do anything, meaning you can co-create anything, meaning you're able to achieve every goal you set. Okay, fear of mind. So I have a question for you, and just ponder on this for a moment. What is the most historically significant invention, and why does it stand out in terms of its impact on human civilization? So what was it? What do you think? Comment below. Was it the wheel? Was it discovery of fire? Maybe building a log home, flying, going to space, social media? What was the most historically significant invention? Okay. You know what it was? Language. That is the most historically significant invention because it underpins all human communication, culture, and progress. Without organic language, you're a mute. It will be very hard for us to communicate and create because life was spoken by the word into existence. Right here. When you breathe, you're breathing the universe into you. Okay, so do me a favor. For a moment, pretend this is somebody's brain. It's your brain. It's anybody's brain, okay? This is going to be a lesson where you're going to learn how significant you are and how unique you are and how you're one of a kind. There's only one of you. There isn't two. There's maybe somebody similar to you, but there's only one of you with the one fingerprint and toe print. There's only one of you. There's not two. That's impossible, okay? So when you're born, you're brand new. You've just come into this world. You've got one piece of programming called the primitive mind. And it's right here at the bottom of your brain, okay? I call this the alleyway. This is the alley of your brain. The rest of this is Beverly Hills. This is Rodeo Drive, Beverly Drive, which leads all the way into, the Beverly Hills, and all the beautiful places that we have in the world. I'm using that because I lived in Hollywood for so long, for a couple of decades. This is our primitive mind where we have the fight, flight, and freeze mechanisms. Those are the headlines. I'm not going to the subs of those. I'm going to just the headliners right now. That's your fight, flight, and freeze. So when you're born and you hear a loud sound, you'll get a fright. If you get scared, you might freeze or you might flee. You might flight. You might run away from the situation. That's your primitive mind. Okay, that's the beginning of who you are. Besides all the DNA in your DNA is your entire lineage of thousands, maybe millions of years of data that's inside your DNA. Okay, but that's inside your body. We're talking about the brain right now. I don't want to get too off the subject. So here's your primitive mind, and then as you go from 0 to 8 years old, this is called your known associations. These are habits you create from learning to ride a bicycle, learning how to use the restroom, the toilet, learning how to count, maybe getting spanked by your parents, because I was spanked by my parents, and thank God my parents were amazing, and I'm a much better person today for being disciplined, whether it was verbally or with the spanking, or timeouts. It all helped. And so those are your known associations. At 8 years old, it taps out. Okay, now again, there are some negative known associations, like when somebody scared you, or you watched a scary movie, or you're told a scary story, or you experience some kind of childhood trauma. These are negative known associations. These are positive ones. Okay. This at 8 years old, you get what is called this critical mind. It's kind of like a firewall. So think of it like this. This is your face right here. This is your eyeballs. You have your two eyeballs. Look at the world. Okay. I'm trying to be funny. Two eyeballs. This is your subconscious mind. Whatever you experience gets programmed into subconscious mind. But at about 8 years old and 9 years old onward, your brain creates what's called a critical mind. It's like a firewall that creates this wall that blocks all your programming to keep it safe. That's why, as an adult, some of us are looking at life through children's eyes, to the wild child. Your wise adult is looking through eyes as a wild child. So your responses are elementary, immature, spontaneously creating havoc and chaos because you're not making wise decisions or wise responses. Your coping mechanisms are coming from your childhood trauma. That's how you're responding. And what happens is over time, this critical mind, it's 2% of your subconscious and 2% of your consciousness. Okay, your critical mind right here. And from 9 years old onwards, that's how you respond to certain situations. Whenever it gets triggered, okay, that's how you're going to respond, is to your old primitive critical mind programming. And what this does is, over time, you also have what's called modern memory, and that kind of sits over here, your modern memory. Okay, so right now you are looking at 10%. This is your 10% consciousness. This is your 90% programming of brain. And look at it this way. Here's an interesting analogy, okay? Maybe even a metaphor. An iceberg, okay? Because it's not seawater, it's just water. Sticks out about 10% out the top. That's what's visible. Below is the 90% that's submerged. And the reason it floats is because it's lighter, the mass is lighter than seawater. So that's why it floats. But it's the same thing with the mind, right? If we look at nature, we can relate to nature. The Fibonacci, for instance, there's things we can relate to nature. What happens is, from 9 years old onwards now, you create all your logic, analysis, willpower, reasoning, and decision-making. That's all in your consciousness, the 10%. What you're seeing right now, okay? And over time, you pick up some bad habits, not good habits. And this can create some negative responses and cycles. So we keep repeating the same cycles over and over again. Maybe cycles of sabotage, where you keep sabotaging yourself. Maybe cycles of fear of failure, where you're scared to take risks because you don't want to fail. You believe in success, but you have a fear of failure. And maybe, you know, you had a traumatic upbringing. So you're in this isolation, you're in abandonment, you know, a presenting issue. That's your coping mechanism. What I do in my sessions through meditation and through my hypnotherapy, and I do my own self-hypnosis every single day to myself. I've created my own audios, is I'm giving myself new thoughts and habits. However, the critical mind, okay, works in 90-minute cycles. It's called BRAC. It's the basic rest activity cycle. I don't know why we live in hourly cycles that make no sense at all, because the body works in 90-minute cycles. It rejuvenates, and it's almost, in a sense, recycling itself every 90 minutes. So it's refreshing itself every 90 minutes, even when you're asleep. So who knows why we live in hourly? That just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I digress. I'm asking myself the question as well. In order for me to change my known association, to make them more positive, okay, it's called message units, organic dialogue. I'm speaking to myself. Okay, I have to catch myself, because if I don't, it's going to bounce back. Everything I see, it's not going to have an effect on me, because this is safe zone. My subconscious mind is safe. What happens is, eventually, it opens up a gate for me. This firewall opens up a gate for me. So it goes from here through positive suggestions and positive affirmations. It's now feeling safe. It will open up to me. And now I can go in and change my subconscious programming. When I'm done, I can close it. That's how it works. So here you go in, And you start to make all those negative and positive, because there's some trauma in there somewhere, all positive. So you think of it as a big dial, a big volume dial that's at a 10, and you turn that dial all the way to a 0, or you turn that positive from a 0 or from a 1 all the way to 10. It's reverse psychology. We're taking a negative and desensitizing it, and we're embracing it with a positive. Okay, so we're overlapping. You can't delete, you can't erase emotions and memories. Even on a hard drive, you can never erase anything. There's always if they want to do research on your computer, there's always a thin line of memory in your computer. You can never delete or erase everything completely. There's a small like membrane left in there somewhere that the 3-digit agencies can still dig in there and track and catch whatever they want to get in the information. Okay. And so when we start to desensitize the negatives, we have to replace with a positive. And that's what gives us our new programming for excellence and success, and to manifest that reality that we want. Okay. Through working on our mindset and through writing down the 3-6-9. It's actually Nikola Tesla's theory. He said you need to daily do it 3 times in the morning, 6 times at lunchtime, and 9 times before you go to bed. You have to cognitively, with touch and feeling paper, you have to write out what you're doing, and eventually becomes a reality. That's what works. That's how it works. That's the law of attraction. We are but children viewing the world through the very weary eyes of adults. Thank you for joining me today in this first chapter of the law of attraction. I will have this in the link in the description box below. I want to leave you with this, and I'll be back next Wednesday, same time, and we'll go deeper, and we'll go so deep into this, guys. It's just going to completely transform your mind. It's going to elevate you. You're going to transcend to another new dimension of creativity, of excellence, of just doing the ordinary and becoming extraordinary. I'll leave you with this. Be a leader, not a follower. Be a lender, not a borrower. Nobody's perfect, okay? Only the Master Universe is perfect. However, intend on doing the right thing. Cheers, guys. I'll see you next week.